Hello, Jocelyn here, ServetownPsychic.com. This video is an excerpt from a reading with a client who wanted to reconnect with her deceased little pug, handsome and charming, Luigi. Enjoy. Luigi is adorable, for starters. Okay, so you're wanting to connect with him, yeah?
I would like to, yeah.
Okay. I'm just doing a little tuning in business here. Yep, he's here. So he hangs around you and visits. I mean, he's got his eye on you, I want to say, is one way to put it. He's definitely keeping track of you and the family, and he's very happy for you and your family. He's kind of terming it like you landed on your feet because you have this great family now. Do you have any specific question for him, or shall I just keep letting him hold the mic, or how do you want to?
Let him hold the mic.
Okay, all right. Oh, this is emotional for you, huh?
Very.
Oh. He says we went through so much together.
Yeah, we did.
Looks like relationships and moving and job changes. Oh my goodness. So many big changes. And he said he was always game.
Yes, he was.
You said, we're moving, we're leaving this state, we're going somewhere else or whatever. And he said, I'm all in. I'm all in. When are we going? Don't forget to pack my bones,
Yeah.
Or my bed. I guess he had a bed he really liked.
He did. I still have it.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to get rid of it.
Oh. He says that's good. He goes, he likes that you make a point of remembering him. My printer's got something to say all of a sudden. That very well could be our little pug friend. So he's telling me that he really likes Ronnie. And he feels like, okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, he really liked her, and he felt, what he's telling me is that you two had a connection right off the bat. He's saying he could tell right off the bat about her, that you guys had a special connection. I'm gonna unplug that. Well, maybe I'll just let it do its thing. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm telling you, sometimes it feels like spirits are like piled up at the door, and you just open the door crack, and it's like, what?
We're here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God. So he's showing me, I think you said you lived in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
He's showing me it feels almost like a near-death experience or something, where you were outdoors on a trail or something and he fell or something like that. He's showing me like a scenario like, whoa, wasn't that scary? And like you almost thought you lost me, is what he's kind of saying.
Yeah.
Do you remember that event?
I do.
Oh, goodness. So he's saying, that was like a close shave, is what he's, And he goes, I was so glad that, that you got to stay together, that wasn't, but that wasn't it. Cause he says, I was scared too. And he's saying something about your mother. Did your mother have something to do with you getting him? Or did she have a role?
She didn't have a role with me getting him, but she had a very deep connection with him. And every time I'd go home and I would take him with me, He would never leave her feet. He would sit right on top of her feet.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So he was really connected to her.
Very connected to her. Yeah. And she knew there was something special about him too. She's like, he's not your typical dog. There's something special about him. It's almost like he knows who you are and what you're thinking and feeling. And I think
Yeah, I
she
feel
had
like
that connection.
she had that connection with him.
Yeah.
I feel like he's saying that she was an important part of how he came through for you. And I don't know how, I mean, like I said, my first question was like, did she steer you to find him or, find him for you or something? But he's making me feel like she understood how important he was for you. And she kind of echoed that message. You knew it, you had a hunch. I feel like you were a lot younger at that time, so you may not have heard it as loudly as you
Yeah.
would now. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he feels like she amplified that message so that you were like, I mean, you knew, but then you knew because
Yeah.
she was like, this guy and you, this guy right here,
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what else he's got to say here. He says, you always took very good care of me. I always had the right food. I always had walks. I always had friends. I always had things to do. And he totally trusted you, totally trusted you.
Yeah. I felt that off of him.
Oh, what a nice thing to feel. That's amazing. I mean, like the trust he's making me feel is like there's no question, like just solid. Like he's just like, yeah, I got no worries. That's not all animals get that. Not all, of course, not all people get that, but not all pets get to feel that way.
Yeah.
Part of the reason he gets to feel that way is you, obviously, because you were such a solid, loving, 100% person for him, but also because of like what an old soul he is. That he's actually got this capacity for this huge trust, and it's cool, very cool. And so he's telling me that near the end, it was hard for you and you were not sure how you would do without him, and that you were afraid to let him go, but afraid to keep him here. And that it was just like an existential crisis in some ways for you. When his departure was looking imminent, I just feel like he's just making me feel like the roller coaster of challenges that you were grappling with and navigating was really hard for you. And you mentioned the other day that you still think about him. I feel like that period, there's still some residue of that period on you. There's still some like residual sadness and remembering the stress and also some of the doubts and all of those things that were part of that period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
He wants you to know you did everything right. He says there's no reason to feel anything but 100% joy when you think about us. So he's really saying you can let all that go and just remember with joy that you had this relationship and that he's really not left you. You really haven't lost him. I mean, he's around the house. He's hanging around the house.
Good.
Yeah, he said you can tend to think of yourself as somebody who doesn't handle certain things well. And some of the things that you had to go through with him toward the end were like those kinds of things where you say, well, those are things that I don't handle well. And he's saying that's not true, that you handled everything beautifully. and that with all the heart ache or heartfelt involvement of that situation, you managed to have all of those deep and profound feelings and make choices. I mean, that's a really incredible balance to strike. And so he's giving you credit for having done everything right and beautifully and being this strong person who's both creative and feeling and being able to get things done and make decisions that are not easy. So he's saying you don't need to tell yourself that it's not true that there's some things you're not good at or some things you can't handle or things like that. He's saying, on the contrary, you handle them powerfully, beautifully, with heart and feeling and soul. So he's saying if that's a message that you're tempted to tell yourself, he's here to testify that's not the case with you.
That gives me some peace, because it was hard. It was hard making that choice and leading up to it. I mean, I knew his health was failing. I knew it was getting near the end.
Yeah. Let's see what he says. He says, no, your timing was perfect. Yep. He says, I wouldn't have voted for anything different.
Good. That gives me peace of mind.
Good. I'm glad. He's saying he had some sort of like dementia stuff there too. At the end, that he was grappling a little bit with like memory and tracking things and yeah. So he's saying that was challenging for him. He was so used to being there for you and present for you and available for you, and you two sort of being a team and all this kind of stuff, that for him to kind of be like, wait, how many pills am I supposed to take this morning? Or, did I already eat breakfast and that kind of thing? That was rugged for him. He didn't like that. He didn't like that dynamic, as it was hard on him. So your decision-making process was right on the money, is the upshot of all that.
Good. I'm grateful for that.
He's saying also, like, let's appreciate the timing of all of this. How here I was, you're number one, and now you have this whole family. And so it's not like you've been left out in the cold, I guess is the way he would term it,
Right. And he would say that.
Again, he's saying landed on her feet. Because you were thinking, how can I have a life that doesn't have him in it? You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, like this is such a pivotal relationship. What does life even look like with that relationship not in it? And he's saying, now look at what the universe has offered you, and look at what you've agreed to manifest. He's stoked for you. He feels the love of that household too. And he would be the one who would know about that. He's like a love expert.
Yes, he is.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Yes, you nailed that on the head. He's very much a love expert. No one could love like he could. Oh.
So he's an authority, and he's saying, you've got it. And like, if he says it, oh my God, then you got it,
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Wow. Maybe he'll say that about me someday. That, to me, that would be like, oh my God, the authority has said that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what it feels when he's saying that about you. It's like he's the expert, He's saying so many good times, so much playing, so much kidding around, so much meeting people and trying new things. I feel like a lot of the time that you had with him, you were sort of on a quest, and you were sort of questing professionally and socially, and you were figuring out who you wanted to be and all this kind of quest feeling stuff. And he was like just such a good partner in that. He was always game, and he felt like, yeah, we're out checking this out. We don't know where it's gonna lead or what we're gonna decide. We're just out here checking it out. He was really good for that. He was very neutral. He wasn't he was very open-minded.
Yes, he was a great co-pilot.
He sounds like it.
He was. We had a great adventure.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better co-pilot, like you said. So, do you have any questions in specific for him, or?
No, because I think he knows how much I love him and how much I will always love him. And I know we'll be together someday.
He says you are together now, and he will always love you. This is a bond that's not going anywhere, hasn't gone anywhere. So you can, let me see. He said, you don't need to wait. You don't need to wait until you pass away to feel our connection and to feel my presence with you. You don't have to defer that. You can ask for it now, invite it in now, and trust that it's there now too.
And I will. I will invite it in because I do. I miss. He was so much more than a dog to me. He was like my kid. I feel like we had such a relationship that I never had a connection with any animal like I had with him. And I never thought of him as an animal. You know, he was my co-pilot. He was my best friend.
Oh, he's like, yes, that was us. That was us. So yeah, that connection, there's no way to diminish that or take it away just because the physical has changed. There's no he says it's like we're handcuffed together. He does, he says, like handcuffs. He says there's no separating us. So he's with you. He's with you for sure.
Good, because he is. He's very much in my heart. Always.
And what a big heart it is, he says.
Oh,
And
thank you.
he
This
says,
was amazing.
oh, good. I'm so glad. He says thank you. You know, he says thank you to you for always being so. He's saying he could, not that this, I mean, maybe this in spirit was probably not even possible, I mean, what with your mom and whatnot, but if he had ended up with someone else, they might not have seen him to the fullest extent that you saw him. They might not have recognized the depth, right? The depth of his
Right.
character, the awareness, the love, the absence of judgment, the willingness to be your co-pilot and go on adventures and be your partner in this quest and all this kind of stuff. Somebody else might have had him and thought he was really cute and really loved him a lot and been nice to him, fed him good food or whatever, but they wouldn't have seen him all the way like you see him. And he
Right.
says for that, thank you so much.
I did. I fought for him when I broke up with my ex. It was, we were going to do the sharing back and forth every other week, and she never came back for him after 2 weeks. And she's like, I think I'm just going to move on and get another dog. And I felt such a release because I was like, he belongs. He needs to stay with me. I'll do whatever. I'll sacrifice whatever I need to sacrifice to take care of him.
Yeah. Yeah, that bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, thank you. He says that's an example of where I could have been treated okay, but would she have seen me for who I truly am on the soul level? No.
Yeah.
No. So he's like, yeah, you rock. You got me, He
Yeah.
appreciates that. He's grateful for that. He goes, that's what makes you special. You're talking about me being special. He's saying that's what makes you special. Truly does. I mean, it really does. Very cool.